Hi, this is Victor Morganti from Fact Engine. I'd like to speak with you about Data Vault and the Boston conceptual modelling software and Fact Engine in general. Fact Engine's clientele is generally of the calibre and size where they're looking for solutions in the data warehousing space, and in particular Data Vault, and where Boston and Fact Engine can provide utility in being able to automatically convert a schema for a relational database or even a graph database and convert that to a Data Vault schema using the code generator inside Boston. So Boston is available in the cloud, and where people can work collaboratively in Boston on conceptual models, and it's also available on the desktop. The code generator at this stage works on Boston desktop, and Fact Engine clients who use Boston Enterprise in the cloud generally have one or two copies of Boston desktop as well, so Boston Professional on the desktop. So we've got Boston open in front of us here, and in the Model Explorer we've got a database or a schema for a database already open. It's the Northwind, the famous Northwind schema from Microsoft, and there is a database behind this this schema. So people familiar with Northwind recognise it being originally released as a relational database, but people are now starting to use the Northwind schema in graph databases as well, and where Boston lets you visualize your database as a multi-model database, as either a graph database or a relational database. It's easier to picture the schema when we look at the Property Graph Schema, where the Northwind database or schema is about customers who place orders for products, and where an order has a shipper and a product has a supplier. I've added manufacturer on there as well. And where customers have a customer demographic, I've added this extra relationship here: order, customer, ordered a product. Orders were taken by employees who may report to other employees, and employees covered territories that are in regions. And I've added this extra relationship here: employee, region. This becomes a property graph schema when we control-click on a node type and see its properties. So customer has customer name, company name, contact title, address, city, etc. So these are the properties in the property graph schema view of the schema. We know that in Boston we can morph to the corresponding entity relationship diagram view of the schema, and where this is at the meta model level exactly the same schema, but presented now as a entity relationship diagram. So whether you're working with a graph database or a relational database, you can map your schema inside Boston to then further map it to a Data Vault. The secret sauce of Boston is that underlying the entity relationship diagram view and the property graph schema view is a suite of object role models that match the schemas for the entity relationship diagram and property graph schema, and where conversely they also map in a homomorphic fashion to the underlying object role model. So you can visualize your database or your schema as a object role model as well. Now, object role modeling has a very long history of being able to automatically be able to be translated or converted into a entity relationship diagram, and where that dates back to the 1980s, and where FactEngine has taken it one step further and added a mapping to the property graph schema for graph databases, and together the very tight schema that we have can be converted to Data Vault automatically as well. If I go to the model and look at the model dictionary, which is open on the right hand side here, we can see different views of the object types in the schema under the different languages. So this is the property graph schema view, where we can look at customer and see all its properties. We can switch to the entity relationship diagram view and see all the various entities and their attributes. And of course we can look at the object role model view and see all the object types and fact types and constraints in the object role model view. So we'll see how that looks after we've converted this to this schema to Data Vault. So I'm going to right click on the model as it stands in Boston Professional and click on Code Generator. I've got a project I've already created, so it's Data Vault for the Northwind model. Now the code generator in Boston is a template driven code generator which is itself driven by code. So this is all code in the language used by the code generator inside Boston to generate the Data Vault schema for the model that's been selected. And we've selected the Northwind model that we're working with, and we're going to be generating it from the with direct access to the Boston model. So the Northwind direct access to this model, and this is the template that we're going to use. It's very quick to operate. The code itself took quite a while to create, but you can see within the code here highlighted we're creating hubs. Here we're creating satellites, and FactEngine's customers are familiar with Data Vault, so there'll be nothing new there. And we're creating link tables here, and together with our hubs, our satellites and our links, we have our Data Vault schema. And these are the rules for converting the object role model or the entity relationship diagram or the property graph schema to Data Vault. So we've got a little crystal ball up here, so we can have a look at what it's going to look like in a jiffy. So I'll just click on that, and so that's already automatically applied that code to the model and generated this on the fly. So it happens very quickly, and we can see a whole series of hub tables. So this is SQL DDL for creating the hub tables. If I step through those, we have the various satellite tables, and then as we go further down we'll see the various link tables. So I won't go too much into Data Vault with you today, other than to show that we're generating the hub, satellite and link tables. Of course you can see where we've got HK, so our hash keys for our primary key indexes on our tables, and where the hub tables don't have any foreign key references, and where the satellite tables have one foreign key reference, and that's back to the hub, so that each of the satellite tables have one foreign key reference, and where link tables have in general two foreign key references between hub tables. So that's the DDL for a data vault for the Northwind schema, and I've already created the data vault database, and I've imported that by using reverse engineering inside Boston. Boston supports reverse engineering for a number of databases, not all at this stage, but a number of databases, and where if I go back to the model dictionary and refresh that, we can see that if we go to the entity relationship diagram view, on the right hand side we're looking now, we have a series of hub, satellite and link tables for our data vault. I've created some pages to view the model inside Boston, and if we look at say customer, we have a customers hub table. It has a customer satellite table, and where we have source, effective from and effective to, the hash key, foreign key reference back to the hash key for our customers hub, and the source of the data. We also have the load date on the hub. We may be missing a load date on the satellites, but we can put that in there as well. So with our link tables, just got an extra reference there. We have the foreign key references to the two linked tables, and the load date and the source as well. So that's a view for customers, and where customers have a link to the customer demographic hub, and where customer demographic has a satellite. Similarly with an order, we have an orders hub, we have an orders satellite, we have a link to, just get rid of that, we have a link to our customers hub, and we have an order details link table to link to between orders and products. So where a customer places an order for various products, and we have the order details in our order details satellite table. So similarly with employee, there's a series of hub, satellite and link tables, and with product as well. So just to recap, we've taken a schema that's visible as a entity relationship diagram or a property graph schema or a suite of object role models. We've gone to a code generator that's got code that takes the schema and applies a set of rules to create hub, satellite and link tables. We generate the DDL, so the database definition language, in a very quick manner, and the beauty of it being quick is that you can easily debug your code as you write it. It makes it makes it easy to debug your code if you can execute the generation of the DDL very quickly. So we've got the DDL. You can tailor make your code for the way that you do Data Vault, and Data Vault is rather standardized, but certainly if you've got any special requirements, you can put that in your own code. And once you've created your Data Vault, you can, in the same fashion, view that schema or that database from within Boston. I haven't got any data in this Data Vault, but certainly with the Northwind database, there is data behind it, and you can use Boston as well to, I'll just maximize that, visualize and add, edit and delete. So CRUD operations, create, read, update and delete on your data within your database or your Data Vault or data warehouse or data lake in a user access permission basis. So you can edit your data, view the schema, and then ultimately convert it to Data Vault. We know that in Fact Engine we can write business intelligence queries against schema and databases in Boston in natural language. So we can say which employee took an order in December 2017, excuse me, and execute that. That should work. That's just farming out to a large language model to be converted to Fact Engine query language, and we've got our results. It's been converted to SQL to do that query to get our results, but first being translated into Fact Engine query language, where we're saying which employee took an order that was placed on order date month 12 and was placed on order date year 2017, where we've written that business intelligence query in natural language. So which employee took an order in December 2017. We're still working on ways to have similar natural language queries against Data Vault, but I perceive that the way our clients will do that is by having a view over the Data Vault where pretty much the original schema is mapped onto the Data Vault, so you can do your natural language business intelligence queries pretty much against the same schema that you started with, but with date ranged data. So we'll work with our clients to see how they do that. So using technologies such as Presto or AtScale or Snowflake, or even virtualized databases in, say, Postgres or SQL Server as well. So thank you very much for watching. That's Data Vault inside Boston. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.